Spoiler alert, I like it a lot. That's right, it is time to review the Hoka Rocket X. First off, Hoka did send the Rocket X to me to review. They're not gonna see this, they're not gonna proof it, they're not gonna tell me what to say or edit it at all. I'm gonna say my honest thoughts like I always do. And right up front, I'll let you know I love the shoe. It's been great. So if you don't know, I received this shoe only I think 3 days before my first marathon. I took it out, ran like 6 miles in it, thought it was pretty good, and I chose to wear it in the marathon. So I wore it, and I've already worn it for a race, a marathon distance, and it did fantastic. I loved the shoe, and now I've worn it again today for another 9.5 miles. So I've got roughly 42 miles in the shoe. Generally, I like to go to about 50 miles before I do the full review, but with the fact that I did a 3-hour, 16-minute marathon in the shoe, I feel like I know the shoe pretty well already, and I don't think my opinion would change with a few more miles. So let's get straight to it. Before we go any further though, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Down below, click the little thumbs up, give it a like. It really does help out a ton. Helps the video, helps the channel, and helps me. I'd really appreciate it. As always, we're gonna start with the stats. So the Hoka Rocket X. Now this is a little bit up to interpretation depending on where you read, but from what I found from Hoka, the stack height of the shoe, this includes measuring with the sock liner in the shoe. It does have a pretty good size sock liner. But so it's 35 millimeters in the rear, 30 in the front for a 5 millimeter drop. Some places will report it as 30 and 25, but that's because the sock liner is about 5 millimeters thick. So 35, 30. And you can feel it when you're running. It did feel like a taller shoe. Right out of the box, as soon as I put it on, I was like, oh, okay, I'm up here a little bit high. But on the road running, no issues. Stability felt fine on tight turns. There was no like issues with, possibly rolling an ankle or anything like that. So no issues there. That's another fantastic thing about the Rocket X is the weight, especially considering it is a higher stack shoe and it has that 1 millimeter thick carbon plate inside. So weight. Threw it on my scale, men's size 11, weighed in at 8.2 ounces or 233 grams. So that is very lightweight for a road racing shoe in a men's size 11. I've got some other carbon fiber plated shoes as well that are almost a full ounce or about a full ounce heavier than this. So it's not the lightest by any means, but it's pretty darn good. And I felt it on the road running. It just felt lightweight. It felt I didn't have any bulk on my feet. It felt amazing. So Hoka does say this is a neutral shoe, but with that carbon fiber plate in there, it is very rigid. There's no flex, as you can see, to it, or very minimal. It is a rigid shoe, but that's what the plate is supposed to do. It's supposed to be tight, give you that push off, and help you go. And it certainly does that, which we will get to in just a minute. Next, we're gonna talk about the upper of the Rocket X. So the upper is a very breathable mesh upper. It's pretty lightweight. I mean, you can clearly see, let's go ahead and go straight to the tissue test. You can see the breathability of the shoe when I put it on the hairdryer on low. The tissue went up to where a lot of shoes go when it's on high. And then when I put it on high, it was just like crazy. So I even noted that on the start of the race, the marathon I did last weekend, it was cool in the morning. It was in the upper 30s. And just walking to the starting line, I made a comment, oh, my feet are cold. These shoes are definitely very breathable. My toes are cold. And I could feel that wind blowing through. So it's definitely very breathable. But the fit is phenomenal with this shoe. It feels really nice. The lockdown was very secure. There was no issues with heel slippage at all in the heel pocket here. The cushioning is very adequate. The heel counter is fairly stiff there as well. And it felt good. It didn't rub the Achilles at all. The tongue is great length. It could maybe be just a 1/8 of an inch longer. But with this here, it felt perfect, honestly. The lockdown was really, really nice with the lacing system. Everything felt snug and secure, but I didn't have any issues with it slipping down. It is semi-gusseted, and the padding on it is pretty nice. It's definitely not the thinnest one out there, and it's not the most bulky cushioned tongue either. So no issues though rubbing the top of the foot as I tied that shoe down. Also with the uppers, we have the overall fit of the shoe. And it felt great. So again, I have a men's size 11. I generally wear a normal size shoe. I don't have to get a wide. I have had to order a wide in one shoe before, but with this one here, this is an all gender sizing unisex type shoe, but it fit just fine. No issues at all. The toe box is by no means wide, but even with toe socks on, I had plenty of room. I didn't have any toe issues in the marathon over 26.4 miles that we ran. So I definitely think that the fit is really nice and secure and just plenty adequate. If you have a very wide foot, obviously you're gonna want to order a wide shoe. I also have to say with this upper, it's very comfortable. Over that whole marathon, you know, the 3 hours and 16 minutes I was out running the race, I didn't have any concerns with the feet, never once felt any kind of rubbing friction point on the upper or any point of the shoe. It just was very comfortable. So I can see this upper having no issues going. I would wear the shoe in a 50-mile ultra marathon, honestly. It's that good. But yeah, the upper is fantastic. Great job from Hoka on this one. Please don't change it. Okay, let's talk about the midsole of the Hoka Rocket X. Simply put, it's awesome. It's amazing. It is Hoka's classic compression molded EVA. It's not Pro-Fly, but it's still very responsive. It's a firmer CM EVA versus, say, you know, the one in the Clifton or things like that. So it's not that super plush feel of a lot of Hokas, but it is not as firm either as, say, the Carbon X3 or the Carbon X2. It's a little bit more, a little softer, and it just feels amazing underfoot. It is coupled with the 1mm carbon plate. Those two together just work really well, I found in this shoe. It just feels, the geometry of the outsole, the early stage meta rocker, it with that plate is just gives you a nice propulsive feel as you go through that gait cycle. Really pushes you off of that toe when you get to the toe off. It's just a really good, comfortable ride. It's something that throughout the marathon, the 26 miles, my feet never felt tired at all, like throughout the entire race. Even afterwards, I felt my feet were completely fine. I didn't even feel like I ran 26 miles on my feet. It was awesome. So I love this combination of the midsole, the plate. It all works. Just it works, and it works really well. So I would feel totally comfortable taking this shoe on a paved 50K, paved 50 miler, you know, maybe a crushed gravel 50 miler. I would feel totally comfortable taking the shoe to that. I don't know why several people in reviews have said that this is like a half marathon shoe. No way. This thing can go much further. Super comfortable. I really love it. And being that the midsole is that CM EVA, just like a lot of other Hoka models, I can see this midsole foam lasting easily into the 300, 350, maybe 400 mile range on the high end, probably in that 350 range, which is pretty darn good for a shoe like this. I think so. So yeah, I've been happy with it. I will continue to love this shoe well on, and I will let you guys know if this midsole starts to break down a little prematurely from what I'm thinking, but I think it's gonna last. I should note too that the midsole is definitely not as firm as the Carbon X3 or the X2, so if you've tried either of those and it maybe felt a little too firm for you, this might be more up your alley because it is just a little bit softer. But it's not going to feel that squishy kind of sponginess. And it really comes alive as your pace increases. So if you're taking this out, like actually today I took it out for an easy run, and it was just, you know, I think I averaged like an 8:03 for, you know, 9.5 miles, just an easy pace run. And it felt great at that speed too, but in the marathon or in your speed miles, when you're doing, you know, you're increasing that pace, your gait cycle changes a little bit, that's when this midsole really kind of comes to life. So definitely feels a little better at speed, but even as an easy day, it works pretty well. All right, let's talk about the outsole of the Rocket X. As you can see, there is the look of it right now with, like I said, a little over 40 miles on the shoe. Looking at it, I mean, it looks really good. I don't see any wear, any rub at all to the rubber, the EVA, other than, you know, it's a little dirty for running on the road. But like I said, the heel doesn't even look like I ran in it. The toes look fantastic. I love the way Hoka did this. It's a very thin rubber in all the right places in the toe and the heel. Left this exposed. It just creates a lighter ride, but then still gives you plenty of protection with that thick stack in there. But the rubber gives you a little bit of good grip as well. And then we have a little bit of a decoupled groove for this X for the you know, the Rocket X, the plate in there, and a couple of grooves here as well. Just kind of helps if you do run in a little bit of moisture. Also changes the rigidity of the shoe, the flexibility. It all just works really well. I think this outsole, I mean, I'm literally seeing no wear on this thing with 40 something miles on it. So again, I think the outsole will probably be totally fine into that probably that 300 mile range. Grip has been great. You know, the race I did started in the morning, so it was quite chilly. It was a little bit cooler. The ground might have been a little moist in a couple places. No issues at all. And then like today, it was quite warm. You know, I was sweating like crazy. And this shoe was great. You know, no issues with traction at all anywhere. it was fantastic. So I think this outsole is really good. Hoka did a great job with it. Again, I really do like this part of the shoe as compared to, say, a couple other plated shoes from Hoka, like the Bondi X or the Carbon X3. There they have a deeper groove, and you can actually get rocks stuck in there and pick up rocks as you're running, which is kind of annoying. I really do like this. So Hoka, again, just like I said about the upper, you know, don't change it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Okay, finally, let's talk about the price of the Hoka Rocket X. It's $200. So just like the other carbon plated shoes they have, 200 bucks. Honestly, it's well worth it. I think this shoe is amazing. If you are a Hoka fan and you want to try a carbon fiber plated shoe, I highly recommend the Rocket X. It's been my favorite so far. Really do enjoy it. I will continue to race in the shoe, run in the shoe a lot. I think this is going to be a shoe for anyone that wants a little bit of a softer feel than a really firm racing shoe. By no means is this soft and like pillowy cushion. It's still a firmer ride, but it has the cushion where you need it. It has the comfort that's there that you want in a long race so you don't get fatigued. So if you enjoy a shoe like that, soft, bouncy, but yet firm at the same time, with a really nice transition from landing to toe off, propulsive feel, overall, the whole fit of the shoe, everything about this has been fantastic. I really can't find a negative with the shoe, something that I really wish was just different that kind of ruins it. Everything is either pretty darn good or very good, and that's kind of rare. So Hoka, you did good with the Rocket X. Let's not change it too much for the next version. Well, that's gonna do it for the Hoka Rocket X review. If you wanna take a look at the Hoka Carbon X3 review, you can take a look at that on this side of your screen, go check it out. And then over here, I'll put a playlist up of other shoe reviews you can check out as well. Thank you for watching, I do appreciate you all. If you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated too. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.